So yesterday was the first day of the Tory Lanez Megan Stallion trial, and I'll be honest with you, I really don't care about either one of these individuals personally, musically. I'm not a fan, but it seems to be something that people are talking about and have been talking about, and I do have my thoughts and feelings about the situation. So let's get into it. Yesterday, the lawyer for Tory Lanez came out and basically provided proof that Megan Thee Stallion did have relations with Tory Lanez as well as Ben Simmons and DaBaby. All people who Kelsey, the so-called supposed friend, was also messing with. Now, is this abnormal or wrong? No, it's not. And I'm going to say some things that are going to be politically incorrect here. So I'm going to take a sip of some water before I do. All of these people are morally bankrupt, godless heathens and jesters, entertainers that are only good for making us laugh at their life. And they get paid for it. They get paid well for it. So they can take everything that comes with it, or at least I don't care about their thoughts and opinions of the things that come with the fame that they clamor so hard for. In the actual situation itself, from the beginning, this was not about right or wrong. It was instantly politicized. This was a We Believe Women, almost a Me Too situation minus the RABE. And because of the way that Tory Lanez has presented himself in the past, people were ready to believe the situation, including myself at the original onset. Because I'll be honest with you. At the very, very beginning, like the first day that this situation came out, I was like, oh, I don't put it past him. Dude's a hothead. I see him all the time doing things, engaging in behavior that I think is uncouth. So I would not put it past him. I don't know the guy personally. I wouldn't be surprised if any one of these dudes came out, shot a woman. Any one of these rappers wouldn't shock me. But, I wasn't like, oh, he's guilty, throw him, in the slammer or anything like that, because I don't care more than anything else. I really don't care. But as time went on and more details started to emerge, and it wasn't so cut and dry, it made me begin to question things. And I'm not saying that everything is cut and dry in all situations where violence occurs or doesn't occur or allegedly occurs. But I am going to say it's like, all right, so everything, like, people reported on scene, they have the weapon, they have the injury, they have the medical reports, they have the bullet fragments, they have they have all of this stuff. They have video footage. Police investigated the scene heavily. If it was cut and dry that this man had shot this woman, it wouldn't go as long as it did. Or there would have been damning evidence that would have been instantly presented. So to automatically raise an ear, meaning that if it was obvious that Tory shot her, then it would have been obvious that Tory shot her. It doesn't mean that he didn't shoot her, but I will say now that it begs the question of who did what, and Meg Thee Stallion has switched sides so many times based off of her story, that's what literally destroyed the credibility of the case. This woman had everybody on her side at the beginning and throughout the case. So she had all the opportunity in the world to really slam dunk it if it was slam dunkable. And the fact that it's not slam dunkable, to me, in a time where it's like it's like an easy win, low-hanging fruit, if it was real. And I keep reiterating that doesn't mean that it's not real, but if it was as real, if it was the way that they said it was, then it would be way too easy to prove that we wouldn't be here right now. Going on further, Megan Thee Stallion has 100% unequivocally proven herself to be a snake, a liar, a two-timing friend, and not even a good business associate or if you want to talk about illicit activities, not one that you want to do that with either. Because let's say that Tory did shoot her and she was trying to keep her mouth shut because of relationships that they shared. That didn't work. Because of what? Emotion? Because of what happened in reality? Scrutiny? You thought that you were going to go through this public situation without scrutiny? I'm saying all this to say that when we have these codes in the street, when people don't adhere to those codes, there have to be consequences for that. I'm not saying that I think that anything bad should happen to her, but at the very least, you should understand that she's not a woman to be trusted. And she's not a woman who should have a career. Because society feels the way that they do about women in the current climate, it actually boosted her career going through the situation that she did, launching her to higher heights than she had previously seen before being shot. And that is problematic because incentivizing those kind of things, politicizing these kind of things, one, obfuscates the truth, and two, turns everything into a sport where people don't care about right or wrong, they just care about their side winning. So let's take all of that out of the equation. Let's even take the actual situation of who could have actually shot her out of the equation. And let's look at the people involved in the situation and how they have been operating and maneuvering since then. Tory Lanez has been doing, for the most part, his best to stay low-key, which I definitely respect given his current circumstances. Meg Thee Stallion was boosted, given like Woman of the Year, like Song of the Year, Album of the Year during the, course of this time since the altercation that originally happened, has been everywhere, on The View, everywhere, giving her thoughts and opinions, talking about things that she shouldn't have been talking about, being allowed to talk about things that she shouldn't be allowed to talk about without consequence, while this man, Tory, was kept under strict rules and regulation, having his social media sites suspended and things like that because he was trying to basically address information that was already out. So we really saw something that even if it turns out that Tory Lanez is fully guilty, the way that the justice system goes through these kind of situations makes it so that you don't even feel good when justice is served. It feels dirty. It feels like they took, it's like taking a person. It's like you see somebody litter, right? I would like to see somebody fined for littering, right? But imagine you see somebody litter and then the cops just come and they just start beating the hell out of this person and rubbing their face all in the dirt and in the mud and like, yeah, you see that? That's what you get when you litter, you little, little boy or whatever and stuff like that. And you're just looking at him like, damn, all he did was throw a piece of paper on the ground. This is not a one-to-one juxtaposition because obviously shooting somebody is a higher level of crime, higher level of issue than littering. But does the punishment match the situation? On the outside, for a regular person who would never think to be involved in a situation where you have to potentially shoot your friend or women you're romantically involved with, all of this is horrifying and it's disgusting. The fact that there are people who even live their life in accordance to this is gross and should be gross to the average person. However, if you are a person who is involved in the underworld, underhanded dealings, the black community, hip hop, and you brush shoulders with types of people who are involved in illicit activities, and you are looking at what is going on here, you should be paying attention. You should learn your lesson. You should understand who to keep around you and who not to keep around you. You should know that all of those lip service, oh, my lips are sealed, mob tied, ain't nobody ever gonna tell. That's whatever you say in fair weather does not hold up in the midst of the storm. That goes for anybody, which is why it's really best. And I've, in my old age of 28, have come to know that never do dirt crime isn't worth it. It's like it's not about being afraid to go to jail. It's not about any of that stuff. It's really not even about getting rich to me. None of those things are worth it, man. None of those things are worth taking the risk of having your freedom compromised because of activity that you did with somebody else. Now, I'm not condoning it, but I will say that people who do crimes by themselves make their own decision. No co-defendant. You choose your path. You choose your destiny. You pick your adventure. I think that I would love to live in a world with zero crime. But we're adults here and we know that that's not the world that we live in. I'm just going to tell you to be smart in all of your moves and never trust people in underhanded dealings, especially if there isn't signed, documented paperwork. Do good business.